Thank you for joining me today. For the ones who don't know me, hello, I am Ranu. So you are at a stage when you want to extend or refurbish or remodel your house. You have defined your needs, and to make it a reality, you need to know the various materials and standards that will work best for you given your budget and the experience of the tradespeople available to you. I have trained as an architect, specializing in residences, and currently I work with a chartered practice in central London. Today I will share my experience with you to make you aware of how an architect can save you time and money on your project while making the most of your available resources. Please note down any questions that come up in your mind during this talk and get them clarified with me. My contact details will be shared with you at the end of this presentation. Now I'm going to share my screen with you, so just give me a minute to do that, so that you can see the screen now, and that's the topic for today. Let me start with the subject at hand, your extension. How do you start planning for it? A good starting point for your extension or your dormer would be the design for it. A design can take many forms. They can be visual, they can be abstract. Now, the general perception of what architects design is something like this. An upside down house, which not many people want for their home. People think that architects design big, fancy, show-stopping buildings and unconventional interiors like this. Well, a vision that grand designs the very inspiring television programs has helped strengthen in the minds of the public. A question for you. Do you think this has actually been built for human habitation, defying gravity and the way it looks? Well, it is the Luo Ruo Center for Brain Health in Las Vegas. And then people think we will make interiors look like this, bright and splashy to keep you alert during the day. Well, maybe this might not be everyone's cup of tea, I understand. We also design some very symmetrically proportioned buildings like this, and interiors that are inherently calm due to the selection of colors, textures, and materials. So all of the images that you just saw were real designs. Moreover, they were happy places, which were meant to serve the function of the building and cater to the taste of the occupants. A lot of people say that after buying £1 million home, they have no money left to hire an architect, or they only have a £40,000 budget, which is too small to hire an architect for. Well, no budget is too small to be designed for. Every space is worth engineering, and you will find different design practices that will take up projects of varying budgets. The good job of an architect or a designer is to design to your needs, to fit your budget. Now, with these conclusions in mind, let's answer the next question. What is design, and how are architects connected to design? So let's first clarify who are architects. Well, they have been defined as someone who solves a problem you didn't know you had in a way you don't understand. Well, let's try and demystify this or give another definition. So what do architects solve for you? It is the value that they bring to your physical building, your extension, and to your lifespan associated with the building, by designing that building in such a way that it fulfills all your requirements and those set by the law. You can clearly measure this value that they bring to your life by looking at the design service that the architect offers you. And to know the importance of this service, I will briefly explain what design is, as you can see on screen. Now, you listening to me can design because you have to stay in the building, and no one better than you can dictate what the design of your house should be like. But design is a very broad term. So, and that includes all these boxed headings that you can see on your screen. So, in a real life example, to give you a very latest example, we recently completed an £800,000 rare extension and internal remodeling of a house in London, and where our fee was £80,000. Now, that often leads to gasps from clients questioning why should they pay 10% of the project cost in design fees. This is what I will explain further by discussing each of these headings with respect to your extension. So let's start with the first one. The layout. You can see the tabs on the bottom left will be highlighted as we go along. So we are going to start with the layout. What is a layout? It is also called the plan, and it's how you view your building from the top. So after you remove the ceiling or the roof of your house, you imagine yourself floating like an angel above your house and looking down on it. And this is what you should see, and a professional layout should include all of these things that you see here. Now, what is the purpose of a layout? It tells you the daily use of your building, guaranteeing comfort and ease. It will tell you the overall size of your building to make sure it satisfies your legal obligations. It will tell you the size of the furniture that you should buy later to fit in that space. And very importantly, it gives you the indication, the first indication of money that is needed to build it. So it will define your budget. Now let's come to a real life example of what happens when your layout is not properly made. So a dear friend who was not a friend at that time had instructed this extension. Let me show you what they had. So all these red lines, which are not very straight, as you can see, the ones I'm drawing. So all this bound by the red lines on this side was what they already had, and they wanted to extend by adding another living room. So this was the existing living room. They wanted to add another living room and a huge library that you could see here. And they wanted to make the most of their rare garden on this side. So what usually happens is, when you don't have these sort of plans in your hand, there's no designer or architect working for you. You stand on the site with the builder and you instruct them, that you tell them that you would like a lovely connection from your existing dining into your new living, and then further into your library. And then from your current living room or your foyer, you want to enter your new living room and walk out through those beautiful double doors to your garden. Similarly, through your library, you walk out into your garden. Now you see that there is an absence of your furniture or the way you will use your rooms in this particular plan. So now this absence of furniture of the correct size and the doors and windows together gives rise to unexpected scenarios after the building is complete. Let's have a look what happened. So when you place the furniture, it lands bang in the middle of your door opening. So from your dining, you cannot move out to your new living because there is a sofa here. From your new living, you can't connect to the library because there is a two-seater here blocking. And you cannot access your beautiful garden through these lovely double doors because there's a grand three-seater right in the middle of it. So the pink shaded area that you see on the screen here is the active circulation between the rooms, which was planned, but at every stage it is obstructed by a necessary piece of furniture. So it's a very hard compromise to make now after everything is built. This can easily be avoided by designing the layout using the correct furniture. And this is the first thing your architect or your designer will make for you to ensure that you arrive at the best solution for your room. So you would have saved money at the end by not ordering these double doors here, here, and here. You could have used fixed glazing, fixed doors, which are cheaper, or relocated these doors in such a way that you would have made your space work more efficiently, giving you everything you want. Now, we designed the layout after doing a full site analysis with the aim of the site analysis is to maximize the benefits that are already available to you through your existing surroundings, which would be your existing house or some trees, the sun path, and your natural, the way the sun and the wind, they behave on your particular site. So, and we also do not give one layout. There are various feasible options for your requirements and the site. So like you can see here, all these three drawings are made for a rare extension option for the same family. So we make a few options which check, what do they check? They will check the extent, the size, the depth, the dimension, and the width of your extension so that it fits within your legal obligations to the council. Then it also checks the various furniture arrangements so that nothing clashes with your doors and windows where you're sitting. And you see there are dimensions on these drawings. So all our drawings are dimensions so that you clearly know what is the volume, what is the size, whether it fits in the permitted development scheme of the council, or you will have to apply for a planning permission. Now this is also further looked at in a 3D view. Let's have a look at what that is. So you see this is the same 3D view for the same family that I just showed you in plan in the layout. So why is this done? So that you can check what sort of a roof do you want at the end of it. Like here we've introduced a green roof, and then this is a cutout in the roof where you could have an awning or a pergola. This is also done so that you can place your roof lights in the right places. Roof lights or skylights like these If you miss putting them in your extension, then you will have to spend more on electricity bills to brighten up the dark corners of your house, and you will also deprive your body of the natural nourishment which is needed to keep you in a good mood and good health. Now, this is also the time to decide how many doors do you want, these glass doors, how many of them do you want to open, how many of them can just remain closed, which will affect your budget. What type of doors do you want? They could be bifold, they could be pivoted, they could be sliding folding. The material of the doors, it could be plastic, which is UPVC, or steel, or a composite between aluminium and wood. All these things will have a bearing on the timeline of your project and your budget, of course. Another important thing to decide here, especially in rare ground floor extensions, is the amount of paved area. So it is cheaper to put grass everywhere, but if you put some paved area, which you might want to use by sitting down and having a picnic or a barbecue, because the lawns here are mostly wet and damp through most part of the year. So plan for some paved area as well. Now, all these decisions that we talked about will give rise to a set of planning drawings. These drawings will be submitted to your council so that they can approve it and your extension is legally allowed. We do rigorous checks while designing everything for you to save you future headache. You might hear a lot of advice from people saying that your extension comes under the permitted development rules of the council, so you do not need to apply for a planning permission. As that may be, we do not recommend taking the route of starting construction before getting your prior approval from the local council. And your architect will develop the best layout option for you, which would be the first milestone of your project to save you time, money, and other legal headache. So that is what I was trying to tell you. An architect will make a set of approved planning drawings for you. Now, the second tab that I chose to highlight was the sustainability and the services of a building. Now, what are the services in a building? Services would, for example, include things like the heating systems for your building. How do you heat the water, the space, then your alarms, let's say the fire alarms, the security alarms, all the pipes that carry away the wastewater from your kitchen, your bathroom, from your roofs. And a few examples that I've used to explain this further to you is underfloor heating. So instead of radiators, you put the heating underneath the floor surface of your house. This is very common these days. It is trending and it is extremely useful. And there are broadly two types, electric and wet. Then next, more heating sources which form a part of your building services are boilers, use of efficient boilers or hot water tanks as suited to the size of your family. You could use heat pumps to help you with your heating needs, like air source heat pumps or ground source heat pumps. They're becoming very popular these days. You could also install PV solar cells on your roof of the house, which will generate electricity for your own use, and it will decrease your utility bills. And you can feed it back, whatever extra you generate, you can feed it back to the grid and earn some money. The fourth tab that I've chosen is MVHR, which is Mechanical Ventilation Heat Recovery System, which gives your the air inside your house a purified quality. So the air is very pure inside your house, and you can keep your doors and windows closed, and still you can get a natural, fresh circulation of air within your house. This is especially important if you're living in an inner city, crowded, polluted postcode. Now, a judicious use of all these, or of these few services and many more how will that help you? An architect is going to he's going to advise you on what services can be integrated in your house. And then it is your decision what to pick and choose. So how does that help? It will give you immediate better comfort, living comfort in your house. It will lead to long-term cost savings. It will instantly lower your carbon footprint, which most of us are acutely aware of these days. It might also make you eligible for government grants. So by use of these sustainable services, you can champion change at a very personal level. And these ideas have to be integrated in your design at the very beginning. And that is the job of your architect. Now we go on to the next heading, which we consider the most important building material on site, which is the homeowner's money, your budget. Now, how can you be sure that the budget you have decided will get you this set of deliverables at the end of your project? Now, there are three ways to know that, and I shall discuss briefly each one of them. The left column is here. When you go to a builder, when a homeowner goes to a builder with a set of planning drawings that we were talking about, these drawings will indicate the layout, broad, rough layout, and the outer dimensions of your building, which should have been approved by the council. Now, the building cost based on this set of planning drawings will be probably exactly £500,768. Even though you have determined the cost of your building, you have no indication of what will be delivered to you finally in terms of quality, surface finishes like bathroom fittings or accessories, door window types. That is because this type of a planning drawing offers no clarity on the items being put in your building. So when there is no clarity on what is inside the building, any and every cost given to you is correct, and the judge of that cost will be your builder. So if you're happy to hand over this control to one party, then this first option of determining your budget and also your timeline should not be bothersome. Let's go to the second column, which is a better way to ensure the health and safety of your finances and your building. You get a set of building regulation drawings made for legal compliance, and the architect will make the set for you to obtain the mandatory certifications. This will help to firm up your budget and your timeline, and you can probably also use these drawings to compare the delivery of your structure on site when you're paying money to your builder as he makes your extension. These type of drawings still leave a fluctuation in the cost of your project, anywhere between 25 to 35%. It can go up still, because there are still many things which are not included in this kind of set of drawings. Now, the best way to firm up your budget is to include all things possible that need to go in the structure of your building. So what goes in your structure, what goes on top of your surfaces like your tiles, is it vinyl, is it timber, your hard and soft landscaping. So the more clarity you have on your drawings, the surer you are of the money it will take to build it, and hence the less shocks of cost escalation midway your building construction. Now, these tender drawings will also form the basis of a signed contract between you and the builder. They are super important as they fix the cost and timeline of your building. And this signed contract between your builder and yourself has mechanisms to control the cost and the predicted timeline of your project. Now, let me give you an example of, let me illustrate the planning drawings being used for constructing a building by a real life horror story. So, someone was referred to me. They were getting their these homeowners were getting their ground floor and their first floor completely remodeled and rebuilt. So their builder had left the site halfway, and he had sued the homeowners for non-payment of monies. The homeowners, on the other hand, claimed that they had overpaid him and he had not given them the mandatory certifications and other results as he had promised. Now, when I went to site to see what had he delivered versus the money he was paid, I asked them. I could see a half-built structure, of course, on site, but I asked them for drawings with which I could compare that. And the drawings that the homeowners had given the builder was this. Now, to compare the delivery of a structure on site, you need a drawing that is like this on the right-hand side. So it has to be like this. And this is what a tender drawing is that I was talking about. Now, we can play 5 differences between these two, but I'm sure we will all end up with something like 500 differences. So please remember that these tender drawings here, they set your expectations. They are your expectations, which are written down as a formal contract between you and the builder. These drawings are the proof of what you are paying the builder. Anything less than this will leave you exposed to the situation of I said this, he said this, and at the end, no one comes out the winner. Let's talk about the timeline. Do you have a date by which your project will complete? Are you living on site? Are you renting elsewhere? Many people tell me that the builder will complete my site as soon as possible because he has to move to a new site to make more money. This is true, but only in part. The builder will shift his team from your site to accommodate his schedule. But whether your building will be complete at that point is no surety. If you cannot control the completion date of your project, then you will have to pay more in off-site rent and inconvenience. And a signed contract between you and the builder can control this completion date. Companies like JCT and RIBA have ready available contracts online that you can download and sign between yourself and the builder. The architect helps you choose the correct contract for your type of project, and he facilitates and negotiates this contract with your builder when your construction is ongoing. And the architect will use measures, or let's say powers, provided in this contract to make your project delivery as smooth as possible based on the cost and the timelines. Now, how does your architect run your construction contract? He does that by taking on the duty of a contract administrator during the time your extension is being built. And what does the contract administrator do? He will tell you the amount of money that you have to pay to your builder at regular intervals. He will perform checks on your structure that is being built. Those checks can be done every fortnightly or monthly. He will judge the impact of the changes on your budget and your timeline. He will also tell you if a penalty fine is due from your builder to you, if your builder has to pay you a penalty fine if he doesn't complete your project in time because of his actions. And the architect will also tell you how much money to hold back from the final payment that is to be made to your builder, so you can check the performance of the structure. And the architect will then also tell you when to release the full and final payment to your builder. He will make sure that your building remains legally compliant in its completed state. So these are all the duties when you appoint your architect as a contract administrator once your construction has started on site. Now, these headings that we talked about were of layout, sustainability and services, money and timeline, are all dependent on your decisions. Now, let's quickly discuss your obligations to the laws. Your extension has to be allowed by the council. So you can see through permitted development, planning permission, or if your building is in a listed building or in a conservation area, then you have some extra applications. You can check this information online, or your architect will tell you all of this right at the start. If you don't apply for these permissions, you will fall foul of the law, and they have the power to take you to court, to remove the illegal building and to recover the costs from you. So your architect will make sure that the design and layout complies with the law, so none of these ugly things happen. Another thing that another legal aspect is there are some legal authorities that need proof that your structure is safe. So these are the Building Regulations Authority and the CDM regulations. These confirm the health and safety of the building, its occupants, and also the safety of your site and the laborers working on your site when it is under construction. Your architect will clearly inform you of his duties under this act, of your duties as the site owner, and of your builder, because all three of these people have some duties pertaining to your construction. Then another legal thing is the party wall awards. These are legal documents of agreement between you and your next door neighbors that depend on the closeness of your extension to your neighbor's house. This is also put in place to help you build with complete control on your property, and it lets your neighbors do the same on their property. Your architect will advise you if your extension requires the consultation of an external party wall surveyor, or whether it can be managed by issuing standard notices to your neighbors. Now, the mandatory period of giving a notice and then starting work is anywhere between 30 to 60 days after you give your notice to your neighbors. You do not want to start your construction before sending out the proper notices, because your neighbors can get a legal injunction to stop works on your site till all this is sorted out. Now, another confusion between these legal authorities and your interaction with them is commonly found between the building regulations and the planning permission. They are two separate bodies. They are not the same. The planning permission is obtained from the local council, who are concerned about the final outer size of your extension. Building regulations, on the other hand, is not bothered about the size of your extension. It is fine if you make a 3-story illegal extension where legally you can only make a single ground floor extension, as long as that building of yours is structurally safe, the plumbing and the electricity connections are made properly with a proper certification, amongst other criteria. So the building regulations, in essence, checks the health and safety of your building and of its occupants. So for example, if I take an example of one of the things they do, you can see this is the photo of an external wall. This is the inside of the house. So in this case, they want to make sure that all the heat that you generate in your house is not lost outside. So everything is wasted, your money on heating, your heating itself. So what they want to see in this case is one layer of brick wall, one layer of concrete blocks, and in between there's a gap which they want you to fill with insulation to make it a thermally resistant, robust wall. And typically for a wall like this, they're looking for a 30 centimeter wide or a foot wide wall from end to end, right? And now, planning permission on the other hand, doesn't care if you make your walls out of cream cheese crackers, as long as you don't exceed the limits they have imposed on the overall size of your extension. So what do they do? Again, so there are different authorities. You, on the other hand, need certifications from both these authorities to stay within the law. An architect makes sure that you get these certifications instead of a legal notice of a penalty fine, a court case, or the removal of your illegal extension. Now we come to the most visual aspect of your extension, the way it looks. And I shall illustrate this using a real-life horror story. So a homeowner was referred to me with a complaint that the builder was not making the bathroom for him that he had promised. And this is the promised look the builder had promised. So I asked the homeowner to see the drawings and the information of the promised bathroom. And it turned out that the homeowner had no drawings in his hand. The agreement of the promised look that you see on screen was based on a brochure, like a booklet that the builder showed the homeowner very initially. And now the builder was claiming that there wasn't enough money left to give him this promised look that you see on screen. And instead, this is what was going to be the delivered look. Now, there is a huge difference between these two, and it is extremely disappointing. So to avoid such huge disappointments, please own a set of complete drawings before you start your construction, before you agree a price on your building. Have a signed contract with your builder, which will hold him to his promises of delivery and quality, and it will hold you to your promise of paying the builder on time. You should know what you're paying for. So this document that I'm telling you about, will describe the quality that you're looking for in your building. And it will tell you clearly let's say the model numbers of the light fittings, the fixtures, what will go in your bathroom, the doors, windows, everything. And so the architect prepares a set of drawings and written documents that clearly define the expectations of the builder, so he can understand your expectations clearly. And based on this complete set of drawings and documents, so you see here, this is how the detailed drawing of that promised bathroom should have looked like. This is what it should have looked like, but they didn't have anything. Alongside, we also give a list of specifications here, so where we describe each item that is to be put in your building. Now, this is so that your builder can clearly understand what he has to make for you, and depending on this, he will price the building for you. And then he will use these drawings further to build that physically. Now, all these that we talked about were tangible effects of a design of your building. So how does design affect you? Let's look at this project we did in London. If you look at the top left corner here, you will see two dormers. So this is one and this is the second one. They were made for the same type of a terraced house that you can see. Needless to say, our design was the one on the right. So this was our design, which had full width glazing of this bedroom, which was overlooking the garden at the rear. And then it had a glass balcony here, which is quite transparent. So there is no hindrance to your view. And this picture on your right, this photograph here shows you when you're inside this bedroom here, when you're standing inside, what you can see, the view that you can see outside. It is not difficult to gauge which of the two houses will fetch a higher price at the time of sale. So to describe design in a holistic manner, it should elevate your daily experience of life in your own house. It should give your body access to more natural light, air, and the beautiful garden views, which are at a high premium in our city, and everyone should utilize them fully. It also increases the value of your house and gives you a better return on investment that you have made on your extension, dormer, or rear, or wherever you have done it. Imagine getting out of bed on a chilly morning and with a clear panoramic view of your garden without wearing socks, because you installed underfloor heating in your bedroom. Then you walk bare feet into your bathroom, which has a tiled porcelain floor. Again, that floor is warm because your architect advised you to use electric or wet underfloor heating in both these rooms. You walk out of the shower and your mirrors are not fogged because your designer installed heated mirrors. So there's no clumsy wiping of the mirrors to look into them. This is your priceless experience when your spaces are designed with expertise and intent. Building a house is an investment, and your architect de-risks your investment for better returns. They pay for themselves, and I dare say save you more money than you pay them fee. So let's look at broadly, how do architects save you, designers save you money? By doing and enabling the processes like designing buildings that comply with building regulations and the council, and they deal with all the certifications so no penalty fines arise. They prepare detailed drawings and specifications of material and the workmanship to achieve the look that you want for the money that you're paying the builder. Another important job which a lot of people don't know is that we help to select the correct builder, then negotiate and manage the builders on site as well. We control the financial outcome of the project using the drawings and specifications that we have prepared, and by instructing interim payments like regular payments to your builder for what he has built on site. So we visit the site fortnightly, weekly, or maybe monthly, depending on the size and the arrangement. And then we tell you how much you should pay the builder for the amount that he has built on site. So in the same manner, we control the deliverables and completion time of the project by running the contract that you have signed with your builder. So ultimately, if everything is completed on time, you save money in off-site rent if you're not living on site, and there is less inconvenience in your life. So think of an architect's input or service like buying a bespoke car for your family. The architect will not make this car in his office, but he will design it for you, focusing on everything you need, and label all of that clearly with your timeline and budget, controlling this design. Now, this information will be used by the car manufacturers to make and deliver the car for you, which is what the builder does by making your building. In between, you have to continuously make payments to the manufacturer of the car so that the progress is smooth. And we inspect the car progress and tell you how much you should pay the manufacturers every 2 weeks for the way your car is shaping up. Now, many weeks are spent in controlling this customized outcome, and this is where your architect is guiding the process. Now, the instant gratification of buying a standard car from a showroom is a tad delayed while you create the car of your dreams. Now, after this tempting car photograph, I will show you some equally tempting building photos that we transformed to suit specific homeowner needs. So you see this existing site photo on the left side here, and this is the process of how we initiate the design of talking to the homeowners. So this is like a rough sketch of the needs of the homeowners that should fit within the planning or the development permissions, and keeping the budget in mind. Then this, like I showed you before, this was the listed building. This is how it started, and this is how it ended with the rear extension in their garden here. This is another listed building from afar and then up close. You see this was the rear extension, seamlessly blending the inside and the outside of the house. This was the listed building that I just showed you, and these are the interiors of that building. The next example that you're going to see is how our designs cover the smallest of objects and appearances of your extension. So on the far left corner of the slide, you see a house, and we renovated this house completely in Crystal Palace. The small window near the roof that you see encircled in red was unpleasant for the client. So what we do is the next step is to take the real house onto our computers. So this is how we translated it, and you can still see that window that needed to be changed along with the rest of the house. So, and the far right you can see here. Now this is how we integrated a new window in the same location with the new aesthetics of what the client wanted, and everything was still functional. But to get to this buildable reality that you see on the right hand side, we need to draw detailed technical drawings that show the coordination of different building materials, fixing details, while everything satisfies the law, which is the building regulations, and the planning permission if you have got one. So now you will see there is the real installed window. Imagine yourself under that double height space inside the house, gazing at the sky from all angles. This was beautiful on site. Another inside out light filled rare extension that we did of a terraced house in London. And then again, from the inside of such extensions, you can enjoy the colors of the sky throughout the year while you are safe from the varying weather conditions which are often felt here. This was a development we did for a developer. It had 8 flats in it, and I hope it's obvious from the photographs, which was the before and the after. Okay, now this is not a set of professional photographs because we just completed this project in COVID times. It was completed before Christmas 2020, and they had many small disjointed rooms in the house. So we did an internal remodel and a rare extension alongside on the ground floor and the first floor for them, to make it a very efficient, joy-filled and useful house. Do you see this pool here? Now it's a very personal choice to have a pool or not have a pool. These are again, okay, so this is an example of computer-generated images that we often use for developers or even for clients, so that they know what things will look like before they are built. So it clarifies the intent and the outcome at a very early stage for everyone. And it is important for developers to sell the properties before they are fully furnished, and these images help to convey the true message to everyone. These are then again real photographs of the interiors of a listed building that we did in London. And this brings me to the end of my slideshow. I hope that you have gained some information which you will find useful. If you need more clarifications, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop me an email on my email there, ranukoholi@gmail.com. My craft architect's email, the email of my office, and the website is also given on that slide. I would like to thank you for your attention, and I hope whatever project you take on, it flourishes and it works for you in all the best ways possible. Thank you so much.